Hey, it's Phila. You're watching Phila TV, the ultimate YouTube channel. I'm no cinematographer, just a dude with a camera. Today, I'm going to show you how to take cuts off of your yucca tree and propagate and grow roots and come up with new trees. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. All right, I want to show you this. The last time I trimmed my yuccas, I just cut a chunk of it off and threw it in a pot that had something else growing in it that I knew was going to get a lot of water. And as you can see, after just a handful of months, I've got a new sprout. You can see the white there is going to be the root. And then there's even a little root starting there. And there's going to be another yucca growing there. Okay, so the first thing I've done is, like I said, cut some sections. And these are just fresh that I just did. And I'm going to give this a layer of soil and a layer of redwood bark, you know, to kind of keep the sun off of the dirt. And then right in the center, I am going to cut one down from the mother plant. As you can see, it's got quite a few babies. So this one's small enough to take, so I just pop it off and it's going to go pretty much in the center there, just so I could remember and not forget about it. Okay, now I've got it planted, like I said, with a plant in the center and all the cuts around the outside, and I dated it and marked it, yucca cuts, and I'm going to put it back here. Today is August 30th, 2020, and these yuccas, if you remember, were potted. These were planted on 6/13/20, so it's about 2 months. And if you remember, and I'll include this in there, that I cut sections of the mother yucca plant and planted them in these pots, in this pot, and I marked it, yucca cuts, put a little baby in the center, and then planted those all around. So now it's been 2.5 months, and as you can see, we have one popping up. So let's see what this has for roots. Okay, we've got one little root going on there. So that's going to be nice. So this one has been in this pot, and this was the same thing. This was a little piece of section that I had planted quite a few months ago, and then I discovered it growing, and now I'm tugging on it, and it's got, as you see, tons of roots. And this was just a little section that I've cut off, and now you can see this is all rotting away, but we have a good root. So that's going to be going back into this pot and allowed to continue to grow. This was a section that I just cut off. It was one of the little babies that I tugged off of it, and after, you can see, after a couple months, we've got nice roots. So I'm going to pull these out and see if they're still alive. That one is, as you can see, it's gone. This one, same thing, it's rotted all the way through. Also rotted all the way through. Huh. Surprising. Out of all that, we've got one that lived. These pieces, I'll admit, were pretty small. So we're going to take some cuttings from the, again, from the parent plant, because we have so much of that. And like I've said, I'm trying to establish a good colony for somebody to put out into the desert. So that's not necessarily going to be able, but we'll put it aside. So these are trash. Okay, and at the same time, 2.5 months ago, I took some cuttings and let's see how these have established their roots. Mind you, these are getting hit by the sprinklers for the first couple of months to keep them soggy. Then I moved them out into the rear section of the property, and I've just pretty much forgot about them for the last 2 months. But these things, they multiply quickly. I don't want to just tug on it and yank all the roots out, even though it's going to be strong enough, but, you know, for the topic, I want to get all the soil out, and then we'll see exactly how it looks. All right, so I dug up a couple other ones. I have them in some terracotta pots because that's all I had at the time. So I want to get these into nursery pots because they grow a lot better and they're a lot easier to transport. But these are the same thing. This is about, 2.5 months of growth on the roots here. And this is about a month because I took a couple more cuttings and just stuffed them in some pots that already had soil in it. And that's what I got after just a couple of months here. So, about a month, and this is like 2.5 months. So I'm going to go ahead and get these put into 1 gallons. And I've got another dozen or so out there that I'm going to get them all prepped and set them aside someplace. I like to give them a lot of shade and a lot of water, and then they grow really fast and they stay really bright green. Now that leaves us to these two guys. These are both from cuttings. And they're both well established. Well, I wouldn't say well established on this one, but it's got a start, it's got a root, and it's got, some activity going on. So I'm going to keep an eye on these. This one I'm going to leave in this pot and keep an eye on it since it's dated 6/13 when we started. We'll keep an eye on this one for, a couple of seasons. And same thing with this one. I should have dated this, but it's the same day as this. So got a few things more going on. Let me go get some other pots.